Keep my pen handy even on my days off. Slow down the brain rot, try to make the pain stop. Looking back, I wouldn't change lots. Probably take the same shots, bucket for the raindrops. Lived a couple lives now, trace of it, the outlines when I lie down. Couple chapters, it could take a spot of white out, but you gotta leave them in, cause that's the only way you find out. The opposite of Johnny Come lately. Deep disdain for the foes that don't face me. Respect to the new squad on the A-team. I thought that I could live forever too when I was 18. No road scholar, no overblown tone, no pose, don't bother. Me and P on some can't stop one shit. You wish that you could be this stuff this far along the road, kid. Got two choices in this life of yours. You can give your pride up at the door, or you can watch it slowly get ripped out of your chest until you're just a shattered mess on the floor. Hey. Thanks everyone for coming down tonight. Make some noise for Mr. Rhodes. Make some noise for Indy the Giant. How about everyone take one step forward. One step forward. Hey. Yeah. Check. Off the page sign writer. Out of line rhyme typer. Locked inside crime fighter. Good luck if you're trying to find tighter. Pen game hyper if you catch me in the AM. Later in the day I get caught up in the mayhem. Oldest newcomer on the block. Don't know what you need but I can give you what I've got. Sometimes I feel like a ghost in nice clothes. Daydream walking the streets, eyes closed. I wish that I could switch the voice off like a light globe. Tell myself I'm good now, just enjoy the ride home. Here I am back at the crime scene, Googling instructions for a time machine. Go back and fuck it up again. Tally the mistakes of days we called each other friends. Nothing left to prove to anybody. Made a home inside his tune, sick of sitting in the lobby. I drink my coffee as I sit and watch the flowers bloom. Poison in my paper made them think I'm flying off the fumes. Huge thanks to my doubters and detractors. You the ones that keep me passionate to get up off the mattress. Out of style but forever in the pocket. If it's out of frame, that's just how we want it. Hey. If it's out of frame, then that's just how we want it. If it's out of frame, then that's just how we want it. We can both see it different at the same time. Your choices ain't wrong cause they ain't mine. You say you busy but you just don't wanna make time. I know it's true cause I use the same line. You and me got history even though it ain't ancient. It's buried in my cranium like voices in the basement. I'd prefer we leave it but maybe it's time we face it. Hard to erase it, don't mean that we can't displace it. My brain gently requests that the space is vacant. Only so much room in this place, not good to waste it. You were my mate, I forget what changed it. Silence is king, I'm trying to embrace it. Was a couple Rolling Stones, but now we tend to roll alone. I think it's safe to say we've probably grown since when we used to roam. Neither one of us could see beyond the haze. A couple minotaurs just trying to find our way outside the maze. And then one day we chose to go our separate ways. Since then we barely spoke, so I'm just writing this to say, hey. We can both see it different at the same time. Your choices ain't wrong, cause they ain't mine. You say you busy, but you just don't wanna make time. I know it's true, cause I use the same line. We can both see it different at the same time. Your choices ain't wrong, cause they ain't mine. You say you busy, but you just don't wanna make time. I know it's true. Hey, I might have, definitely did something to piss you off. Rude, self-obsessed, condescending, I tick the box. Barely rap, already thinking my shit was hot. Even close friends must have thought, yo, this kid's a lot. You was always couple steps ahead of me. Somewhere along the way, I think the pride turned into jealousy. I wish I was a better me, but watching you do better made me wonder, is this someone I will never be? You weren't so picture perfect yourself. Nowhere to be found when I needed help. I should have told you the way I felt, instead of being defensive and keeping it to myself. Took a minute to see it from your perspective. Wasn't about me, didn't need to get so defensive. I truly hope that you find peace of mind, and one day we press rewind on the track and go line for line. We can both see it different at the same time. Your choices ain't wrong, cause you ain't mine. You say you busy, but you just don't wanna make time. I know it's true, cause I use the same line. We can both see it different at the same time. Your choices ain't wrong, cause they ain't mine. You say you busy, but you just don't wanna make time. I know it's true, cause I use the same line. You were not your idol. You were something more. You were something less. One day you will fall. You were not your hero. You were something less. You were something more. You ain't gotta stress. You were not your idol. You were not the poster on the wall you used to stare at as a child. You were not the makings of a myth, a future ancient tale to be painted on a dish. You were not a saint. You were not exceptionally good-hearted. You were glass that didn't break. You were not a king. You don't have a general you can blame when you've forgotten how to win. You were not a genius. You were not someone's a generation. Holy fuck, dude, have you seen this? You were not the first and you will not be the last. You were not the errors of your past. You were not a loser. You were not a doctor cause you stare at a computer. Hey, you were not your parents or your uncle. Only you determines when you stumble. Stay humble. You were not your idol. You were something more. You were something less. One day you will fall. You were not your hero. You were something less. You were something more. You ain't gotta stress. You were not a big shot. You were not a brand or the epitome of hip-hop. You were not a virtuoso. You were not a sample. You were not a famous logo. You were not a freak. You are not a burden, it just hasn't been your week. You are not a dummy, you are not a disappointment, cause you're not a bag of money, not a boss. You are not a man, you are not the judge while you sitting in his chair. You are not an icon, you are not a fraud. You are not a champ with the room for your rewards. Hey, you can just be you and that's okay. Some say better than, but maybe that's another day. For now, just keep this in your file. You are not your idol. You are not your idol. You are something more. You are something less. One day you will fall. You are not your hero. You are something less. You are something more. One day you will fall. This is a little live remix we've been doing at Trumpets. See if you like it. You deserve trumpets. You deserve lasers. You deserve a 3-act show with the whole cast singing your praises. You've been amazing, practically unfazed by the situation. Hey, you feel like taking a bow? Well, here's an invitation. I mean you with the headphones on, I think you know why I wrote this song. After the year that's gone, you swept up and kept moving along. King hitter when the winds were bitter, kept the fire going all through the winter. Couple nights you didn't have the strength to make dinner, but you put yourself to bed like a winner. I wouldn't talk about the lost games. Everybody got their off days. You still here taking shots at long range. How you gonna tell me you got played? Could easily tuned out and turned off, but you still singing, trying to make the hurt stop. Couple people had their doubts for sure. That's okay, just show them the door. Hey, you deserve trumpets. You deserve lasers. You deserve a 3-act show with the whole cast singing your praises. Hey, you've been amazing, practically unfazed by the situation. Come on, you feel like taking a bow? Well, here's an invitation. Hey. I mean you with the speakers loud, I think you know why I'm reaching out. While the rest of them are freaking out, you make breakfast and clean the house. Took time when you needed a break, even let go of some of the hate. Made plans to meet with your mates, rain checked when you needed a space. Made choices for down the track, wrong turns then you circled back. Found faces that made you strong, let go those that done you wrong. Shit, you made it through the night, stop now, you gon' prove them right. You had options and none of them nice. You said fuck that, I'm ready to fight. Hey, you deserve trumpets. Hey, you deserve lasers. Yeah, you deserve a 3-act show with the whole crowd singing your praises. Come on, you've been amazing, practically unfazed by the situation. Hey, you feel like taking a bow? Well, here's an invitation. I think that's where no one goes. Come on, come on. Danny Pliner on the keys. got one last track. Imagine a day with no second guessing, no starting over and rewriting the progression. Taking every idea as a blessing, instead of just another chore that needs addressing. Walk out the door and know exactly where you're headed. A list of things to do, no chance that I'll forget it. Write the verse in a flash, no edits. Record the track, links the beat, roll credits. Hey, I trust myself entirely instead of wondering if my psyche is trying to lie to me. Forget about the cliches and comparisons, the phrasing and the formulas, just trust whatever's happening. I wouldn't give a shit if people think it's hit or miss. I'd scribble out some gibberish like shut up kid, listen to this. I wouldn't contemplate my body in a coffin. I'd appreciate the moment, savor love and say it often. Woo! Come on, hey. First place in the second guess squad. I'm a second guess god, check my second guess blog. About time I make the second guess stop. Second guesses get blocked, take your stress and F off. First place in the second guess squad. I'm a second guess god, check my second guess blog. About time I make the second guess stop. Second guesses get blocked, take your stress and F off. I never second guess the second verse. Time to thread that made me chuckle. Grab a pen and get to work. Spill the ink on the papyrus. Watch it mutate like a virus. Let it come, don't try to fight it. I think I gain approximately 2/3 of the day just by eliminating times when I think, hey, is this okay? I just might go whenever I was stuck and just keep working on a plan when demons try to interrupt. Hey, I tell the people close to me I love them more. The music next to you is where I'm supposed to be. Put my pride aside and reach out when I need a hand. Measure worth in memories instead of trying to be the man. I'd have listened when you spoke, trying to face my insecurities, not play it like a joke. No, if I get a second shot, ain't second guessing any blessings. I'm protecting what I got. Hey, first place in the second guess squad. I'm a second guess god, check my second guess blog. About time I make the second guess stop. Second guesses get blocked, take the stress and F off. Come on. First place in the second guess squad. I'm a second guess god, check my second guess blog. About time I make the second guess stop. Second guesses get blocked, take your stress and F off. Make some noise for yourselves. Big love. Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Honestly, it means so much to have everyone here.